You are now watching a True Knicks Talk podcast post-game show live with your host, CP.
Brunson sets three-pointer, gets his hand, 3 seconds left, put it up for three. What a combination by Jalen Brunson.
What's up, everyone? It's your boy CP here with my co-host Nick on the True Knicks Talk post-game show. Listen, this is gonna be. Listen, we're just gonna speak our minds here real quick. This is Game 6. The New York Knicks have lost this game 103 to 116. Game 7 at the Garden is gonna be on Sunday afternoon. Appreciate everybody rocking with us. Obviously, we're not energetic, we're not hyped because the Knicks did not win. Obviously, this is a deflating, demoralizing game, in my opinion. We'll get into it. We'll get into the X's and O's. We'll get into everything that you need to know about the New York Knicks right now, especially after this Game 6. As always, hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you are subscribing and not only subscribing to my channel, but also subscribe to the He Did This to Me podcast over here as well. Links going to be in the description down below. Hit your comments and just, I guess, hit the live chat. We want to know what you want to get off your chest about the New York Knicks, whether you're a Knicks fan or not. Hit the live chat. We're going to prop up comments. We're going to have a conversation because this is a post game that's going to be surrounded around a lot of conversations. We're going to have a lot of conversations about the New York Knicks, especially ahead of the Game 7. But before we get into that, Nick, tell me how you're feeling. What's up, man? This is not the circumstance of how I wanted to come on this post game. It's deflating. It's demoralizing. And my confidence as a Knicks fan right now is kind of lacking. I'm not going to lie to you. So how you doing, man?
Obviously, when it comes to, how we feel overall, a loss is always terrible. But, with Game 7 being back in Madison Square Garden, I would feel a lot better if we were going into this loss and we had another game and we had Josh Hart. And Josh Hart does not look like himself. It is a very, very scary situation. And, at this point, it's just like, there's only so much that we can take. And, I thought throughout the game, even if he wasn't absent, his inability to affect the game like he typically does is just only so much you can take. And there's a lot of different things. First of all, we should have played better defense overall. Overall, our defense in general, our defensive intensity, our ability to not give up layups and wide open threes was not up to the level that we needed to be. Beyond that, Brunson was not as good as he typically is. But with all those things being said, everything's not always going to go great. It's not always going to be rosy and orange and blue skies. But the Josh Hart situation, it was so clear that he was very injured, that most players would not have been back in the game, and that when he was back in the game, he was not himself. And as far as his status for the next game or his ability to be effective and that overall effect on our ability to win the game, it's scary times.
It's scary. It's demoralizing. It's knockout punch after knockout punch that the New York Knicks could just simply sit there and take. Like, there's only so many punches that this team can sit here and take before they fall flat on their ass. Really, like, let's be real here. I aim to be a positive Knicks fan. I really do. And I love the way this team fights through and through. And they fought, and the fact that they're still here, they're still forcing the Game 7 in the Eastern Conference semifinals versus the Pacers, given no Randall, no OG, no Bogey, no Mitch. It's amazing. And they fought their asses off. But seeing Josh Hart laboring like that, I think it really is. And I saw the sports doctor, whatever you want to call it, I don't know the guy's name. He went on X and saying that this is going to be a problem in a couple of days for Josh Hart in terms of the actual soreness that he's going to deal with.
Have you ever had an abdominal injury before?
I've never had one myself, but I can only imagine that it impacts everything.
When we were talking about OG and the hammy, and you said you'd had a hammy before, and so I was like, I
The
take what you
hammy
had
for
to say.
sure. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So I hurt my abdominal during the middle of a basketball season, long time ago. Very low level basketball. I'm not trying to say I'm any sort of great athlete, anything like that. But I'm just trying to say that it was like turning your head a certain way. A sneeze would put you on your knees, and like it's just like it's one of those things that, especially a guy that plays like he plays with such reckless abandon. The thought that even when he was back in, man, he was not himself. It was so clear. I was watching him off the ball at certain points, and it's just, I mean, how much can we take, man? Like, yo, it's really, there's things tactically. There's things as far as guys knocking down shots and as far as them knocking shots that I think we can do better, and that I think that maybe they won't be able to do as well in game 7, and it's going to be back in the Garden and all those things. I have a hard time understanding. I'm Mr. Optimist. Mr. Optimist. I have a hard time thinking about how this team can figure out a way to get it done without Josh Hart.
I get you, bro. I've been an athlete. Like, I still participate in athletic activities at such a low level, and understanding the abdominal route and that being your core and needing it for every single movement that you do in day-to-day life, and also just physical exertion. It doesn't strike any sort of confidence in me that he's going to be ready for game 7, not with such a short turnaround.
But come on, though, what's up with Josh Renner though? Look at the chat right now. Josh Renner, he's trying to put it on Tibbs. He's trying to say that Josh Hart is the 40+ minutes. You can't expect these guys to be able to do that. It's such a bullshit take. Josh Renner, yo, you're one of my favorite people in the chat. You're one of my favorite contributors overall. But like the Tibbs too many minutes. So who exactly? Josh Renner, please reply. Who exactly would you like to have gotten more of Josh Hart's minutes?
Listen, we're gonna get into that. Let's get into that. We're gonna get, first of all, before we get into it, because like I don't have, like, this is how demoralized I am. Usually I come on here with a box score slide. I come on here with the team stat slide. I got no slides. This is the only slide I got. We're not deviating from this slide.
That's the only slide right there.
That's the only slide. We took a fat L, and we got no confidence for game 7. I got no confidence for game 7. That's it. That's it.
Not
That's
without
really
Josh Hart, man. I will always find a way to be optimistic, but not without Josh Hart. I mean, what are we gonna do?
Let me shout out the room real quick. We got 51 heads in here on X and YouTube. Obviously, guys, like, you can see our body language right now. You can hear it in our voice right now. Like we always, even after losses, come on here saying, "All right, we got it for the next one." This is a different type of stream right now. But as always, guys, we're here. We're talking about it. We're not going to shy away from an L. Hit the thumbs up for us if you're in here. If you're on X, come over to the YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube. Hit the thumbs up. Keep commenting your live chat thoughts. We appreciate it. And not only subscribing to me at CPNYSports, but also subscribing to the He Did This To Me podcast. It means a lot. It really does mean a lot, because we need it right now. Let me shout out the room real quick. Shout out Matt Gabbro. I know you're Celtics. They're waiting on the winner of the series. You're a Celtics fan. Understood. Neither of these teams are going to beat the Celtics. Let me just keep it a buck with you. Neither of these teams are going to beat the Celtics. That's it. That's as easy of a walk to the finals as you're going to get. So shout out to you, Matt Gabbro. Whoever you face, the Nuggets or the Timberwolves, whatever. I appreciate Josh, though. Whatever he says about Tibbs, he's checking in from Oregon. I listen. It is what it is.
No love for
the Tibbs stuff.
He said Obi. Josh. He said it's Obi. Obi Toppin would have been nice, but now he on the opposite team, dunking on y'all. That's what Josh has to say. So that's the thing, is that I was trying to give Josh a little bit of love, but then when you start talking that Obi shit, Obi's not that nice. Obi's just out in front, running around, doing some shit. Come on, man. Stop with the Obi. Stop.
David Ryan's
better than Obi.
David Ryan here saying Knicks can't win on the road. That's obviously been a theme here this series as well. Even when they had Josh Hart at full strength, obviously games 3
Neither
and
can the
4.
Pacers. Neither can the
Pacers
Pacers
can't
thus
either.
far. So
Exactly.
we're going to see.
Facts. Fat Boy Fadeaway Sports. If you guys don't subscribe to Fat Boy Fadeaway Sports, make sure you subscribe to them. What's up? I expect the Garden crowd to be motivated, to motivate your boys in Game 7 for a win. I appreciate you, Fat Boy. My guy Darren at Fat Boy Fadeaway Sports. Listen, y'all do a great job. I appreciate you. I know you're trying to keep some positivity here. I know you guys are Warriors fans. We appreciate you. Thank you for the support from the West Coast. It means a lot. It really does. But I don't know, man. I just don't know.
Man, flip the
Salute to
switch.
you.
Flip the switch. Flip the switch. Game
Salute to
7.
you.
Listen. Game 7. Josh Hart gonna figure out a way. All right. Josh Hart. I don't know. He go Josh Hart. Ship him. He gonna get back to New York. Send him down to Chinatown. Send him down to Canal Street. Find him some lady who like do some sort of prayer and give him some sort of shot. Whatever. We need some ginseng. Whatever the case may be. Figure out something special for Josh Hart. And then at the end of the day, when you get back to the Garden, I actually am a little bit scared about the nervousness of the home crowd and everything that's going on. Like if you've ever been in the Garden in big games, you realize that like when they if it doesn't start, there's a little bit of agita, a little bit of apprehension. But if things get going our way, we can get it going. But at the same time, like if Josh Hart's not there, then we absolutely need like Brunson to like drop 50, DiVincenzo to drop another 30, something like that, something crazy. But we still have not seen these guys perform and be able to take the bull by the horns against the Knicks on the road. It's not just the Knicks. They're now 11-0 in their last, at home. Like they're really good at home. That's what they do. McConnell was killing us. There were so many threes that at the end of the day, when you watch NBA games, it's a make or miss league, like so many people have said. And there are so many times where balls getting kicked out to these guys and they're wide open and they were hitting threes. And you need a couple of those to not drop. And even when we weren't wide open, especially early in the game, there's a lot of hours that were going in and out. And you start to see that early and you're like, okay, well, they're going to start to fall for us. But tonight they just didn't. And Brunson wasn't quite himself. He wasn't as efficient as he usually is. Josh Hart is hurt. He's out. Next game, who knows what's going to happen? It's 2 days, short rest. I feel good about the Knicks in general. And if Josh Hart was healthy, I'd be very, very confident going into this game. I wanted to close it out tonight. The fact that his status is up in the air makes me very nervous.
Do you feel good though, Nick?
We're at.
Nick,
No, I don't feel good. I definitely don't feel good. No, nothing about me feels good. I don't feel good at all. I'm just trying to listen. Hey, excuse my French. I'm trying to mind fuck myself into
no, for sure,
not having a miserable tomorrow and every hour leading up to the game. And at the end of the day, this is why we fought for the second seed. This is why we fought for the second seed. This is why we fought all season. This is why Tibbs didn't rest, guys. We did everything we had to do to, in this situation, have Game 7 be in Madison Square Garden. Can we get it done? I feel like
bottom line. J-Mac Customs here as well. Shout out to J-Mac Customs. Home court will be served. Josh Hart was absolutely laboring all game. J-Mac Customs saying talking too much, taking too much time to get the offensive set.
Totally agree
Can't be
with that.
down double figures. Yeah. It's facts. Listen, let's talk about the game, man. Let's talk about the game because no Josh Hart means Precious Achiuwa is in the game. I love Precious Achiuwa. I love him off the bench. Don't love him being the guy to guard Pascal Siakam because and we saw how that fared tonight. Pascal Siakam is going to get his way on Precious Achiuwa. Because the thing about Pascal Siakam is that he can hit the mid-range. And Precious Achiuwa, mid-range extended, he's not him. He's not him. He's not it. That's it. Like Precious Achiuwa, the New York Knicks have done so well this season playing to their strengths. But when you're down so many guys, and Josh Hart being one of them, You can't play to your strengths anymore, and the opposition's got you right where they want you, and that's exactly what the Pacers did, and they exposed the Knicks today as soon as especially when they found out that Josh Hart was hurt. I wanna preface this by saying this before we get into the X's and O's, like, Precious Achiuwa definitely got exposed. I wanna say this because, like, this is sounding like a negative stream, and I don't mean it to be. It's going to be by default because we just lost game 6. The Rangers are coming off of a huge comeback victory in Carolina. MSG Sports is up. The Knicks are in the Eastern Conference semis, 1 game away from punching their ticket to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 24 years. Like, this was the night to get it done, especially after last night when the Rangers got it done. I'm proud of this Knicks team, and I know a lot of people are not gonna give this Knicks team credit. I know the media is not gonna give this Knicks team credit. I know half of the negative Knicks fan base is not gonna give this Knicks team credit. I'm already prepared for all of that. I'm prepared for all of that smoke. I'm prepared for all of that negativity. I'm prepared for all that discourse. This team being here right now, I hate to sound like a loser mentality, but it's a win in my book. It's a win in my book to be here right now, given the circumstances of what happened this season. It is. Now, I don't want to settle, and I'm never going to be one to settle because if the Knicks lose game 7, and this is a huge if because we have a game to play. This is the Knicks have to go out there and get at MSG game 7 and they have to perform. So we're talking about ifs right now. That's all we're talking about. And that's what I'm talking about. If they drop the game, I'm going to be proud of this Knicks team. I'm proud of this team. But realistically, going into game 7, seeing what you saw tonight, what is the game plan? Because I look at a Knicks team, Nick, that the only offense that was conjured up today was a 31 from Brunson that was very laborious. They're doing a great job double teaming him up front at the half court line. Deuce McBride, Alec Burks, whoever's getting the ball secondary to Jalen Brunson is getting it with 10 or sub 10 on the shot clock. And that is not a recipe for success versus a Pacers team that runs and guns and that gets into their half court offense and really can get fast break points with ease. What is the game plan for you?
You watch this team all year, right? Has it ever been easy?
It's never been easy, man. I know that. I know that.
Was this team just going to go ahead and close it out in 6 and then, it'll all be easy and we run away with the game? No, man. Listen, if this team was going to end up getting to the promised land, they were going to have all the chips stacked up against them, and they were going to come in game 7 in the Garden and be able to close it out. And if they aren't able to close it out, I told you after a win, when Obi went down, I told you right then and there that anything that happens after this is house money. House money. We got 3 starters. We got our best bench scorer. Now we got our everything guy who's supposed to be a bench player who has had to be a starter and maybe our second most impactful player for the entire season. He goes down too. So at this point, it's just like, all right, we got nothing to lose. Get out here. And what we need to happen in this next game, it's not a strategic thing. We need Brunson to have one of those games where he's like 17 of 30. And we have I'm sorry, Ragu being like 7 of 13 from behind 3 or some shit and having 25 points. Like that's especially if Josh Hart is in, then we just need to play good basketball and hope guys play the way they're supposed to. If Josh Hart is out, we need a couple guys to play out of their mind. Deuce in the first half played out of his mind, especially in the first quarter.
Stud.
Second half fell off a little bit. I was Ragu kind of seemed like he was getting it going and fell off. But like, yo, man, we simply cannot withstand Josh Hart being out or a shell of himself. Like we just simply cannot withstand that right now. Currently in his current position, everybody knows no Julius, no OG, no Mitchell Robinson, no Bogey, no Josh Hart too. It's too much. If it's all of those things, then Brunson literally has to go fucking nuclear, like fucking Super Saiyan, out of his mind, crazy. And then we probably still need a Deuce and a Ragu going crazy as well. That's just to get them the amount of points that we need. But on top of that, tonight, the defense was not as good as it needs to be. Too many layups, too many wide open threes, too many times that they were getting offensive boards. We lost the rebounding battle. Now, I expected them to come out and have more, attention to detail when it came to the rebounding, but we cannot lose the rebounding battle the way that we did and expect to beat this team when we're at the current state that we are. That's with Josh Hart. Without Josh Hart, absolutely not. And I didn't really feel like we were getting outfought necessarily. There's a couple times Brunson in the first half, man, it wasn't just some of the shots he was missing. He was hunting fouls and missing shots. There was 2 times that I saw him either not get back or not box out that led to a bucket for them. Brunson, he's our fearless leader. I love him. He's the greatest. Brunson, bow down, whatever. Not your best night. Okay. 31 points. I don't care. It's not just about the numbers. Not your best night. We got to step it up on all levels, and we got to hope and pray that Josh Hart is okay.
Yeah. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, especially if he's laboring, because the Pacers are going to attack him regardless of the factors. I agree with you. This is a tale of 2 tapes from game 5 to game 6, especially on the rebounding, the glass side of things. I just can't wrap my head around Precious Achiuwa if there's no Josh Hart. Seeing Precious Achiuwa more often than not, I can't wrap my head around it, because Pascal Siakam's had 25 plus points tonight. If he doesn't have
kills Achiuwa. You would think
Yeah.
Siakam, Achiuwa, having played against Siakam every day for a while, would realize that like you need to close out on his mid range like it's a 3-point shot for most other guys. Like you have to close out on that. Make him put the ball on the foot. Make him do anything else other than shoot uncontested 17-footer, because he's going to hit that 8 out of 10 times.
But the thing is that Pascal Siakam has owned Precious Achiuwa and he's owned Josh Hart down low on the block, whether it's a little fadeaway or whether he's making an inside move to the basket. He's owned them by virtue of being just bigger than them. The fact that they have to they like Precious Achiuwa was deliberately playing off not to get beat by Pascal Siakam down low, and he was giving way to his mid-range, hoping that he was just going to miss them. And Pascal Siakam was just like, cool, I'm just not going to miss any of these.
I'd rather him shoot a contested layup than a wide open mid-range. I really would.
Really is. Yeah, I would too. I would too. Don't get me wrong. I would too. But the thing is that it doesn't seem like the Pacers miss on their home floor. I'll tell you this: like the Pacers and watching them at MSG versus in Indiana, like that ball doesn't miss in Indiana. I'm not sure what it is. That ball does not miss in Indiana. So I'm not really sure what the Pacers' mindset is when they're in Indiana versus MSG, and if that's going to turn around in Game 7. And that's my only. I'm not gonna say that's my only hope in Game 7, right? I believe in this Knicks team, and I believe in the supporting cast, especially led by Tibbs. I feel like there's going to be adjustments being made, but like I said, there's only so many adjustments you can make when you're down the personnel that you're down in, where talent just takes over from the opposition, right? But maybe the crowd gets involved. Maybe the arena has some sort of supernatural play where the balls just hit off the rim for the Pacers. But listen, what really demoralized me, where I was like, okay, the Pacers team is not to be messed with in Indiana, was when TJ McConnell got that long rebound for a little floater, like up over for a putback basket. I was like, if you're doing that, this is going to be very hard to stop an Indiana Pacers team. They just look like they knew that they were facing elimination, and it didn't seem like the Knicks we're too inclined to just close out this series. Now, like I said, there's a big talent differential when you're missing a ton of guys, especially Josh Hart, because Josh Hart has been that nucleus. Don't get me wrong. He's been that nucleus. I just don't know, man. The free throws are a problem.
Jesus.
They missed what? Like they missed over half their free throws tonight. Precious Achiuwa culprit, Jalen Brunson culprit, Dante DiVincenzo culprit. You can't miss that many free throws. So I'm really hoping that Tibbs has a game plan, whether Josh Hart's on the court or whether he's not. But there's only so much you can do at this point. So the Knicks have battled adversity all season long. We're sitting here about 25 minutes, going on 26 minutes onto the stream. There's really nothing else that we can say about this game. The Knicks got out-battled. They got outshot. Pacers hit their free throws. Knicks didn't hit their free throws. The Knicks are battling injuries. Like, we can sit here and try to make excuses for them all day long, and the injuries are a valid excuse, regardless if the national basketball media wants to acknowledge it or not. They are an excuse. But there's really nothing else left to say about what's at stake going to Game 7. Game 7's at MSG in front of the home crowd, regardless of who's strapping up, whether Josh Hart does it or not, doesn't matter. So I really don't have anything else to say. TJ McConnell's a pest. They're going to have to try to mitigate that. Deuce McBride is also and Alec Burks did not have as strong of a game tonight as he did in Game 5 as well.
He wasn't hitting shots, but he wasn't a negative. Like he wasn't a he wasn't a negative. He wasn't, but he didn't. I thought Alec Burks was okay.
The thing is, he can't just be okay for the Knicks to take Game 7 in my mind.
Right. Fair.
He just can't be okay.
Listen, so if Josh Hart is out, I mean, Alec Burks used to have 20.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, there's really nothing else for us to say. Everybody has to play at the top of their game. Deuce McBride has to have a worldly game. Alec Burks has to have a worldly game. We got to pray that the Precious Achiuwa versus Pascal Siakam matchup is in Precious Achiuwa's favor, which it wasn't tonight. That's all we got to say. Isaiah Hartenstein, there's only so many things. Were you surprised with the usage of Isaiah Hartenstein tonight? I'm curious. Were you surprised?
That's going to be one of the big storylines of the next game is they made adjustments. So what's our counter adjustments? We're going to see, Tibbs. I'm not smart enough to say exactly what they did, but I'm sure the Twitter warriors will teach me in the next 36 hours, and then we'll see what Tibbs does in the next game. That's going to be because clearly they made adjustments with the way that they were guarding Brunson and also with the way that they were, getting Halliburton involved. And now, Tibbs, let's see it.
Yeah. And the last thing that I'll say here is that the Knicks have to be better in terms of their switches. The switches were abysmal today. There was times where Miles Turner was getting on Jalen Brunson. There was times where I saw Pascal Siakam on Deuce McBride down low, and they're getting those mismatches, and they exposed the Knicks in that category. So if there's any point in Game 7 where these Knicks guards are going to be on the Pacers bigs and they're going to be switched off to the bigs, it's going to be a wrap. I'm sorry. You can't – it's not sustainable. They're going to expose that all day long. So better switches and just hope and pray. Better switches and hope and pray. That's it. And Jalen Brunson, let's hope for a 60 burger. Screw 50 points. Give me a 60 burger. I don't really care at this point. I don't care. This is the biggest game of the New York Knicks organization history in the last 25 years, 24 years. This is the biggest game. This is the biggest game. And you know what? Nobody we're sitting here as Knicks fans, obviously making the excuses of the injuries, but you damn sure that Stephen A. Smith's not going to do it. You're damn sure that everybody else in the national basketball media, whether you value their opinions or not, but we're going to have to sit there and talk about it, and we're going to have to sit there and listen to it. They're not going to make those excuses because this is New York. That's all I got to say. Game 7 is going to be Sunday afternoon. Don't know exactly what time yet. Not sure if that's actually released yet. Do you know what time it is? Because I don't know what time it is. 3:30? 3:30. MSG Game 7. I got nothing else to say, Nick. Final thoughts, and we're out of here.
Pray for Josh Hart.
Yeah, that's it. Pray Josh Hart's in the game. And pray that the final score is in the Knicks' favor. Let's hope they make more shots than the Pacers do. This has been a True Knicks Talk post-game show. Obviously, 30 minutes, quick, to the point. That's all we got to say. There's nothing else to it. It's do or die, and we're going to come back on here after Game 7 and assess the game. Whether it's win or lose, we'll be on here, and we'll either talk about a great season or we'll talk about an Eastern Conference Finals preview. That's just simply what it's come down to at this point. This is all for all the marbles. You won't see our faces on here until that's decided. So hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. 83 people in here, whether you're on X, come over to the YouTube, or you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up for us. Don't only subscribe to me. If you're in here on YouTube, bottom right-hand corner for that subscribe button. Subscribe to the He Did This To Me podcast as well on YouTube. Link's going to be in my description down below. And that's it. I appreciate everyone being in here in this chat. Josh, Aaron, shout out Aaron, my guy in the Blue Shirts banner, my co-host for the Blue Shirts banner post game. Shout out you, Matt, Fat Boy Fadeaway, Darren, JM Customs, JMac Customs, Daniel, David. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much. Until next time, let's go Knicks. We'll keep the faith until there's no more faith to keep. That's it. See you all on Sunday. Peace.
Thank you for watching the True Knicks Talk podcast. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for more Knicks content.